Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti. My guest this evening is Rich Borer, who is the president of Goodwill Southern New England.
Correct.
Rich, welcome. How are you, my friend? Good to see you.
It's always great to see you.
It's been a while.
With all this stuff going on, I've been a little bit locked down, but not too bad. But
what's new?
It's been busy the last few years, and I forget when the last show that we did.
It's been a while.
But I really appreciate whenever you do have me.
Oh, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Thank you for always considering me as a guest.
Not a problem. Thanks for fitting me in your schedules.
Not a problem.
Tell us a little bit about background of Rich Borer, who exactly Rich Borer is, and how he became president of Goodwill Southern New England.
Oh, okay. How far back you want to go?
Well,
professionally.
Last time I knew, you were also mayor.
Yes.
Of the city of West Haven.
Yep.
That's right. Let's start there.
And just to go back just a little bit before that.
All right.
So my family started an ice cream manufacturing company. And I thought for the rest of my life I would be in the ice cream manufacturing company. My father started Buck's Ice Cream, which is in Milford. And when I was growing up, after high school, I went to Rutgers Dairy School because I thought for sure I would be manufacturing ice cream for the rest of my life, which we love doing.
Absolutely.
But as things would have it, my mom and dad retired. I have 8 brothers and sisters.
Okay.
They sold the company that we were running to American Frozen Foods, which then created opportunity for all 8 brothers and sisters that I have to do something else. And some of them continued to work for the new company. I chose to do something else.
There you go.
And as you mentioned, I chose to run for mayor. And I was the mayor of West Haven for 14 years. Okay. And that was going great. I really enjoyed it. And West Haven is a very challenged town, because of the economics of the town. And it was an industrial era city that had industrial jobs. And our industrial base was like Armstrong Tire Manufacturing, Bayer Pharmaceutical. But, times are changing, and the city couldn't keep up with that. So anyway, I got a call from Mal Gill, a mutual friend of ours, that asked if I would consider coming to work for, at the time it was Easter Seals Goodwill Industries Rehabilitation Center, Inc. was the name of the company.
Right.
And
you guys were in New Haven.
They were in New Haven, and I was out of West Haven.
Right.
Yeah. And it was the best call that I ever got, I have to say that. I got to go work for a nonprofit, and I got to use whatever abilities God gave me to help people that had disabilities find employment. And so I've been doing that now for 16 years.
And obviously you like it.
I love it. Yeah. So I'm the president. So over the years it has evolved. We're no longer Easter Seals Goodwill Industries Rehabilitation Center, Inc. Right. We are now Goodwill of Southern New England. Right. And so we run all of our Goodwill stores in Connecticut that go from Milford up to the Rhode Island line. And we also merged now, more recently, and I think I announced it on your show.
Right. That's right.
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, that's right.
So we have Rhode Island, the entire state of Rhode Island is part of Goodwill of Southern New England. Oh, nice. And so we've been, slowly growing that to make sure that we make a bigger footprint for what we want to do, which is ultimately not so much run thrift stores, although that's how we fund what we do. We want to serve more people. Right. And in order to serve more people, without going to either the state of Connecticut or the state of Rhode Island or the federal government to get money, we do it through the generosity and through the business model that Edgar Helms created over 100 years ago. Whereas if your family is done with stuff, you donate it, and then we turn that into our mission.
And what is the mission?
So our mission is to help people that have barriers to work, whether it's a disability, whether it's an ex-offender, whether it's a first-generation American, whatever the barrier is that they have towards employment, to help them to gain employment.
Absolutely. And last time you and I were here together, we talked about the store in Rhode Island. You guys were actually getting ready to open a store in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I'm glad you remembered that, because that was very, very interesting, because of all of the states, there's Goodwill and Goodwill stores in every state on the continental United States.
Exactly.
But not in Rhode Island. Rhode Island Goodwill was a workforce development board where they helped people with job training and employment opportunities, but none of it funded through donated goods. We call it donated goods operations. Right. And so we started to get a little bit more aggressive in Rhode Island with our donated goods efforts. Okay. And we opened up an attended donation center in Westerly. We opened up an attended donation center in Providence. Okay. We have a warehouse in Providence. And we opened up the first store just last year in Warwick, Rhode Island. It's a 20,000 square foot store. It hires 50 people. Many of them have barriers to work that come to work for us. Okay. And the store's been doing wonderfully.
Store's keeping busy?
Yeah, and we have some really stiff competition because all of Rhode Island has another organization. It's called Savers, and Savers is a for-profit thrift store. And so, we kind of jumped in to kind of go head to head with that company as a not-for-profit, because we are a not-for-profit. All of the proceeds that we get go back to our mission. Right. And so it's been received really well. Cool. I have about 8 board members that are on my board that are from Rhode Island. Okay. So we have good representation, and it's just really, really exciting stuff.
Absolutely. Now, how are you guys handling the pandemic from when it first began to where we are now?
Yeah, Pete, that has been a wild ride.
Absolutely.
And I'm just, talking as, somebody who's, a little bit older and somebody that's been, around the ballpark a few times. Right. But when this hit, I never imagined that I would be going to all of my stores and they would be closed. Yeah. And that everybody would be, home or working from home. So we went through a time in 2019, right, where everything was closed.
Absolutely.
When it first hit, or 2020. Right. And then everybody worked from home. But one thing that was happening, which was really kind of an amazing phenomena, was that since people were home, they were kind of cleaning out their houses and minimizing materialistic things that they have in their houses.
Absolutely.
And then they brought it to Goodwill. So although our stores were closed, we were accepting donations throughout Connecticut and Rhode Island. And the donations were coming in really, really fast and furious, and which we're thankful for. Yeah. But at the same time, we had to figure out, well, how are we going to do this? Because my employees, when at first, is it airborne? Is it, touched on the surface kind of a thing? Do you interact with people? But my staff was amazing, especially our store managers. I probably have 20 store managers throughout our retail operations. Right. And they were there every day to collect donations, do it in a safe way, process those donations and get it on the floor. And then after being closed for 4 or 5 months, obviously our stores were full. And then when we did open up, we had a lot of really good product, and it was priced really right, and a lot of the people that we service through our programs were part of all of that and the benefactors of that, and it went great.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I understand you guys also did the Fantasy of Lights this year. How'd that go?
Yeah, so Fantasy of Lights is, I think, our 27th year. Okay. And that's at New Haven Lighthouse Park. Yeah. And last year, during the height of the pandemic, when everything was closed, we had a wonderful year because it was the only place you could really go that was safe. You're in your car with the same people that you live with, and you would go through the holiday display. And so last year was like a banner year, and I know I haven't seen you since, but we probably had 15,000 cars go through last year.
Oh, wow.
So it was the best year that we ever had. And people were very generous and very kind. And so this year was not as busy as last year, but better than every other year than last year. So we had like 13,000 cars. Right. Yeah. Although we did end kind of on a sour note because somebody, they chose to rob us.
Yeah.
But the New Haven Police Department fantastic.
Yep.
You know, it's not like we didn't catch the person, but the person obviously knew our operations, and but you know.
Now, does every store that you guys operate have different merchandise and different inventory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like on my way out here to here in Westbrook,
I was going to say,
I
we got a
stopped
store
at
up
the
the
Clinton
street.
store.
We got a store up
And
the street.
the Clinton store looks fantastic, and there was like really great product. The store was full, and here we are after a storm.
Right,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
But still, the store was full. A lot of people, a lot of shoppers, a lot of people that we serve are working, you know, in the back and the front of the store, helping to facilitate the operations. So yeah, it's a really heartening, you know, to stop in a store as the CEO and see, you know, mission coming to fruition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys also used to do a coat drive?
Yeah, and we did that this year too.
Did we?
We call it a coat drive, but you know, it's not like we solicit and try to get coats for people to give us.
Right.
We have plenty of coats.
Right.
We have what we call a coat giveaway.
Okay.
So because we have all of the coats, you know, we want to give them away. You know, we do that earlier in the season, so when people, you know, it's just starting to get cold.
Right.
If they know they're going to need coats for their family, sons and daughters, you know, that we give them to them. So we did that this year. We have always done it in concert with the City of New Haven, WYBC.
Sure.
And the New Haven Firebirds, which is the union, one of the unions in New Haven.
Nice.
And so, but this year, you know, they were kind of shying away because of the COVID regulations. So we did it in our Westville, New Haven store. And we loaded up our store with coats that were free for people to come and take if you needed them.
Nice. Rich, would you mind sticking around
Oh,
for a segment? All right, we'll be right back.
We adopted Christopher when he was about 8 years old.
How are you doing today?
He's really an outstanding young man.
Presto.
Christopher just fits. He's part of our family.
So what are you going to do this weekend?
Goodwill has given him the opportunity to blossom.
We're very proud of him. We can't imagine our life without him.
Community TV, your neighborhood TV.
Publicly funded and a reliable partner for cable companies nationwide, it provides transparent coverage of local and state government, education, and public programming.
A digital town green that can be watched anywhere, anytime, and on any device.
Watch us on today's high-tech distribution methods.
Community TV in Connecticut.
Local,
unfiltered,
reliable, and yours.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Rich Borer from Goodwill Industries, Southern New England. Rich, welcome back.
Hard to break that, isn't it?
I almost said it.
I say it all the time too. Easter Seals, Goodwill Industries. But our name is Goodwill of Southern New England.
Yes.
And we just thought that would encompass all of the things that we do and how we do it.
Absolutely. So what are some of the other cool things we do and how we do it, especially during the pandemic?
Okay, so, you know, every time I'm on your show, I'm talking about, you know, what we do, you know, how your donation puts people to work.
Right.
And we talk about that a lot. And then we talk about our stores and how they operate.
Right.
We talk about stores that I've opened up, which are great. And we also talk about shopgoodwill.com. So if any of the viewers are sitting by a computer right now, I would ask you to go to shopgoodwill.com and put in under the search bar something that you've always looked for at a Goodwill store, and I'm willing to bet you it'll show up. But what we're all about is serving people.
Right.
And so this year, our mantra has been, you know, we're going to serve more people. And what do we have to do to serve more people? And so every time now we open up a store, we put a service area where people can come in and search for jobs. They can talk to a job coach. They can help with resume building, dress for success, mock interviews to help people to find work.
Oh, excellent.
We're also doing our own training programs where, because we are material handlers in what we do,
Right.
you know, and we have warehouses,
Right.
forklifts, palletized, you know, all that stuff.
Right.
And in today's world, you know, Amazon kind of stuff,
Right.
warehouse and material handling is really, really important. But people need to be trained to do that. And so that's one of the things that we do with our people that have barriers to work, or people that have disabilities or other challenges. We help them, if that's a career that they're looking for, to do that. And so we've been working on that. And we opened up career centers throughout all of our stores where people can just walk in and get help that they need to help to find employment. And it's not just about finding a job, but it's about finding a job and a career that you want, you know, and to help them to get where they want to go.
Right. And how easy is it?
How easy is what?
How easy is it to walk into
Oh,
your
it's
store
easy to
and-
walk in.
Easy to walk in and
Yeah.
find the information that you're looking for.
Yeah. But the challenge is, you know, that it's not just that.
Right.
You know, you also have to like do the follow through part
Absolutely.
with the resume, with the interview process, and we actually have job coaches that will help you find a job. But we want to make sure that we get the right matches for folks, you know,
Right.
like, you know, we don't want to put you in a job, and no one wants to be in a job that you just don't like.
Right.
You know, because, you know, you're not going to have the right attitude, and ultimately you'll probably leave,
Right.
which then sours it for the next guy that maybe that was the job that he wants, you know?
Exactly.
So we not only train you on how to get a job and how to do that job and be professional while you're doing the job, but if it's not working out, how to communicate, you know, why it's not.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, so it's some challenging, it's some fun, and you know, I love serving the folks that we do and watching, you know, them as they grow through their careers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really rewarding.
And I'm sure you walk into your stores every once in a while just to spot check to see how things are. And some people know who you are, other people probably don't know who you are.
Correct.
Okay. That's gotta be pretty fun to
That just
see.
happened. Well, especially now I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah, right.
And I'm walking in.
Yeah, right.
And I was just in the Clinton store, and some of the more tenured folks say, "Oh, you know, here comes Rich," you know, and they're like, "Well, who's that guy walking around like he owns the joint?" You know, which
As a matter of fact,
I don't own it, but you know, our board of directors, which is
Right.
are all volunteers,
Right.
You know, and that's one of the things, you know, the misconception that people get with Goodwill, because they go online and there's this kind of, you know, I hate to use the term, but fake news,
Right.
where they say, you know, Goodwill is owned by this one person, and they talk about a salary that's just out of the universe,
Right.
and none of that is true.
No.
You know, so Goodwills, and just to back up,
Yeah.
so Goodwills, there's 160 Goodwills across the country.
Okay.
Each one of the Goodwills, you know, whether it's New York, LA, you know, Boston, or whether it's, you know, Connecticut.
Right.
They're run by volunteer board of directors. So in my case, I have 21 people that are on my board of directors, and they have the fiduciary responsibility of overseeing me and the entire operation. They're not paid,
Right.
they're volunteers, and they're usually folks that support the mission and love what we do of helping people.
Yeah.
And our business model kind of makes it easier,
Right.
because we don't have to ask people for money. I don't have to say, Pete, could you write us a check to help? You know,
Exactly.
all I would say is, Pete, when you're done with your stuff,
Don't drop it off.
drop it off.
Exactly.
You know, which is a great business model, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
it makes it fun. And so when kids grow out of skates, you
Right.
know, there's a new generation that'll you know, play hockey on those skates.
Oh,
you know,
fine. Yeah,
when
yeah.
the kids grow out of skiing equipment, when kids, children, of course,
Right.
you know, baby clothes and grow out of their clothes, or families relocate, or just downsize.
Right.
You know, it gives us the opportunity to give a bargain to somebody else.
Absolutely.
They're happy, and then it also creates a job for the person that put it on the shelf, that accepted the donation, and that cashed you out. These are all people that we're serving.
Absolutely. Now, good segue. Pete Mezzetti walks into the back door of Goodwill in Clinton, drops off a bag of donated items that he no longer wants to do. He's cleaning out his closet. Leaves it by the back door. Where does it go from there?
Okay, so the first thing it does, it goes into what we call a Gaylord, which is a big cardboard box on a pallet. And then that is then with a hand truck brought into the back room to start to be processed. And I'm glad you asked that. That's a really good question.
Yeah, see.
So the first thing we do is we deconstruct that donation. So, so it's like the reverse of a manufacturing process. It's we deconstruct.
Sure.
Now in the plastic bag that you donated, we fill the bag. There's shoes, there's a book, there's some clothes. You open it up and we start to separate everything. And that's where the magic starts to happen. So the shoes you donated will go into a big area for shoes. The books will go into the books.
Okay.
The jewelry will go in with the jewelry, and the textiles will go in with textiles.
So you'll sort everything.
Right. Everything gets sorted.
Okay.
And now after everything gets sorted, or while things are getting sorted, there are people with expertise in all of those things, categories, that then look at those shoes and, are they, Clark shoes or Dolce Gabbana or whatever the shoes might be. They price them and they put them on the shelf to be a good steward of that donation.
Gotcha.
And if it's a picture, if it's just a print of dogs playing cards, or if it's something, something that's really popular, it'll be priced appropriately, but still be the best deal you can get.
Absolutely.
Based on that. Or textiles, what's the quality of the textile? Is it something that you bought, at Walmart, or is it something that you bought at a quality shop? And then those will all get priced appropriately and then brought out to the floor. Yeah, so that is the back room where we deconstruct that donation that Pete made is where the magic happens, actually.
Exactly.
It's not so much the front of the house.
No,
it's the back of the house. Right.
And you guys accept donations pretty much year round?
Oh yeah, year round, and we pretty much accept anything. We can't take anything like a mattress because of, the state of Connecticut regulations with regards to that. And we can't take any of the old transistor TVs. Those have been identified as hazardous waste, so unfortunately we can't do that. And there's some other items like car seats and stuff like that that the government won't allow us to accept because they might have been older, and they're not as child safe and stuff like that. So that stuff we would just kind of recycle and break down to the anything that we don't sell in the store. Just so you know, we break it down. So if it's a lamp and we can't sell the lamp, the copper from the wire gets put into one area. The glass from the globe goes into one area. The brass from the lamp goes into another area, and all of that.
So you break it down.
We break it down. And then we sell that to scrap dealers.
Oh, cool.
And then that also helps fund our mission.
Oh, cool. I did not know that.
So we want to be good stewards, and we don't want to throw stuff away. We don't want it to go in a landfill.
No.
So we break it down to the bare basics of what it is and try to recapture the value.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, how did you get, obviously, with the impending nor'easter this past weekend, you guys were probably closed on.
We were closed on Saturday, which was weird for me because, as you know, with my previous job, as the mayor, but this was in the 90s. Weathermen weren't so accurate in the 90s. I should just say.
Exactly.
I would get a call like at 5 o'clock in the morning and say we're going to close school, and we would close school because the snow was starting, and you would see it. Now it is the day before, sometimes 2 days before. We know the storm is coming because they've been far more accurate on their weather forecasting. We know the storm is coming, so we say we're going to have to close on Saturday, and we notify everybody so they can plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you guys
different.
Opened on Sunday?
Yeah, we opened right up on Sunday.
Now, are all your stores operational the same hours?
Yes.
Pretty much?
Yes.
What are they?
Oh, good question.
Oh, you like that?
You got me there.
All right.
Yeah, so we open up 9 in the morning and we close at 7.
Okay.
Pretty much, this time of year.
And
then during the summertime, we'll go from 9 until 9.
Okay.
But for this time of year, it gets dark and it gets quiet, and we don't really get the sales later in the day.
No, absolutely not. But if people want more information On Goodwill Southern New England, where can they go? I understand that there's a website.
Yeah, goodwillofsouthernewengland.org.
Okay.
And please contact us. Feel free to call me. Can I give my phone number?
Go for it.
203-777-2000, extension 1261 is my phone. Call me directly if you have anything you'd like to share, or if you are a customer or you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. We really love what we're doing.
Absolutely.
You know, our Goodwill agency is about a $35 million annual agency. We have about 600 employees.
Okay.
And every one of those 600 employees loves what they're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of these days, before you come on again, I want to do the walkthrough in Clinton with you one of these
Oh, that'd be great, especially if we could like televise it.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We could
Mobile
do,
cam thing.
Yeah, we could do that. I can grab some camera. And,
Oh, that'd be awesome.
yeah, no,
I would love that.
I think that
Because then your viewers will really see not
Right.
just me talking.
Exactly.
I probably am not the best at communicating
No,
it.
we can
My
shoot-
clients and the
Exactly.
people we serve and the people that shop can communicate our mission far better than me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rich Bohr from Goodwill Southern New England. We're about out of time. Thanks for coming down.
Well,
We'll
that
see you
went
again
fast.
soon.
Pete, it's always a pleasure.
See you
I'm sorry
soon,
I
my
haven't
friend.
seen you.
Yeah,
with
I
all
know.
this going on.
We'll have to make up for it.
But we're back.
You got it. On behalf of Rich Bohr, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks. Good night, and we'll see you next time.